Good morning, I'm on site here at Embedded World 2022 and joining me today is Eirik and Joakim from Nordic Semiconductor, both technical product managers. So thank you both for joining me today. Now we're going to be talking about the NRF5340 audio development kit and Bluetooth LE audio, as well as Nordic's cellular IoT offering. So to start with, can you give us a brief introduction to the kit? What are some of its key features?
Yeah, so I brought it with me, the box.
Fantastic.
Let's just have a look. Comes in an synthetic bag. Yeah. So here it is. Just to take a little round of the features.
Yeah.
It has inputs for audio, line in, normal line in. You can also use a USB-C connector for it. And that goes to well, there is the star of the show is really the NR5340 SoC that does the audio transmission, and this is a generic SoC that we use for all types of Bluetooth products, and it's the one that supports LE audio from our side. On this kit, there's also a codec from Cirrus Logic that connects to the headphone jack, so that's for listening. So that makes a complete audio or LE audio system. And we also have the NPM 1100, which is a PMIC from Nordic that does battery charging. And there's also a rechargeable battery in the pack for people who want to buy this and experiment with it. It's important to buy this battery because there's no real standard for rechargeable batteries, so connect this one and you're sure that it will work. We also have LEDs, programmable buttons. Some of these buttons are labeled for the purpose of our standard application, but two of them you can use them as you want. So I think that covers most of it. There is also a MEMS microphone on it that connects directly to our SoC. The debug features, the pins for power management. These pins here, you can connect them an alternative codec part if you want. So it's designed to cover many use cases and be quite flexible. You can flash a firmware and just evaluate the sound quality and try different use cases, and you can do some serious development and start developing LE audio products.
Brilliant, a nice summary of the features, thank you. I understand that the kit has three main components, so can you tell us what those are and explain the benefits of each of those?
Yeah, I think I actually mentioned it. So it's the NR5340 SoC, it's a Cirrus Logic, and it's a PMIC. So you get at least two of the components from Nordic. The 5340 SoC is a very flexible platform. You get the source code in the SDK. Cirrus Logic is a very popular codec in the audio market. It's a mono codec, so it's kind of targeted towards earbuds, wireless earbuds. Yeah. Both are low power, so it's really optimized for low power design. So yeah, I think that's the main summary of
Excellent, thank you.
What we thought about. Yeah.
So the new low complexity communications codec, LC3, that replaced Bluetooth Classic's low complexity subband codec, the SBC, is also available with this kit. So how does the audio quality differentiate between the two?
So yeah, so the LC3 that's a library that runs on our SoC, and it the tests show that you get much higher quality and you get on par, maybe better than APTX. Listening test shows that it's kind of almost indistinguishable from just a line. It's basically, there's no compromise on quality, and you do that at the lower bit rate, so actually you save power on it. What you pay for it, like you say, there's no magic here, but it's basically, it requires a bit more processing than SBC, but processing power, it's just getting cheaper and cheaper. While bandwidth on air is a bit more harder to compromise on. So that's what I've done, and I hope the days of having alternative codecs is over and they can all standardize in LC3 and just make everyone's lives easier.
Yes, that'd be nice. So what software tools are available with this kit?
Our application and all the reference code is a part of the NRF Connect SDK. So it's a standard application. You can download it. It's available now in the latest version that came into June. Yeah, and that covers the Bluetooth stack, LC3 codec, example applications that will cover the most common use cases, as LE audio profiles. And this is in continuous development, so for every release of the SDK, there will be new features available for the customers.
Okay, makes sense, thank you. So what are some of the different ways developers of LE audio products can use the development kit? Can you give us some typical use cases?
Yeah, so there are two use cases which actually I have at the booth on display. You both are connected with the USB cable, because then you have sort of zero loss over the cable, but you can also use line in. But you connect that computer, you get the audio stream from the computer, it gets decompressed and transmitted. And we have two modes to do that. One is a broadcast, which is a new and unique feature for LE audio, where you can have any number of receivers. And we have two receivers there where you can receive the audio in broadcast mode. Or you can also have a connected mode, where you connect, it's more like the Bluetooth Classic, where you have a connection to one headset. Right. On our booth, we have done it like one transmitter and two receivers, independent receivers, one for left and right ear. And for that, you need 3 of these kits to make that setup. But that's the connected mode and the broadcast mode.
Excellent, some great use cases.
Yeah.
So can you just give us a brief roundup of what's included with the kit?
Yeah, so it's the kit itself, the battery,
Yep.
short notice of documentation, but you can just go to our website to get started. There's no cable because people typically have this laying around, but we use the standard jacks, the standard USB-C. But it's basically the battery, the kit itself, and the rest.
So a very simple out-of-the-box solution then.
Very. You don't really need much, but you can connect. As I said, codecs. You can use a power profile kit to measure the current consumption. Fits in our ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. So the kit is, as you say, a recommended platform for Bluetooth LE audio. So can you just briefly explain what LE audio is?
LE audio is the new audio standard from Bluetooth SIG. It's been in works for many years. And it's basically, as the name suggests, it's using the Bluetooth LE radio as opposed to the EDR that was used for Bluetooth Classic. It has the new codec. The new features on LE audio is the isynchronous channels that allows you to have timing information and the ability to sort of drop packets after a certain number of retransmits because you cannot render it anymore. Yeah. So that's kind of a requirement. The audio codec I talked about, that is new. And then on the profile layer, it's completely redesigned to sort of adapt to many new use cases. For example, like having several headsets or having untethered earbuds. I mean, there are products that make that work, but it's kind of a kludge. It's not really the good way, but everything is solved in the way it should be, basically. There's a granularity in the profile that gives developers more flexibility in designing new products. So it's a whole new game.
Yeah, very beneficial. So what actually is the difference between LE audio and classic audio? Is it just the better flexibility, the more performance, and the different use cases that you've mentioned as well?
Yeah, that kind of summarizes it. One thing I would say about the Bluetooth Classic is that the profile was kind of monolithic. So you have the A2DP, which was like the one you use for streaming audio to speakers or headphones, and it just does that. If you want to alter it, it's just so bulky, you can't really alter it. So, and you change completely from like, you go to A2DP, and then if you receive a phone call, it's another profile. And you see, if you've seen a computer, if you connect the Bluetooth headset, you see enumerated 2 different devices. All that kind of thing is just thought about, like, it shouldn't be like that. It should be a headset, you should use it as you want. And there's this broadcast feature which you can't use on classic audio. This is everything been thought of in a good way.
Fantastic. Well, following on from that then, what enhancements can LE audio bring to developers' solutions?
It's lower power. It does actually lower the power consumption by quite a lot. Yeah. And as the name suggests, and I think that's the first thing everything goes after. Like, yeah, you can have smaller batteries or same battery but longer battery life. Audio quality, like the standard audio quality, is better, and I mean, you could get good quality, but you have to depend on having the same codec on both sides if you want to use an alternative codec. Now there's a very good one, which is standardized.
Yeah.
There's a whole level of flexibility.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. So some say that Bluetooth LE audio is going to change the entire wireless audio game. So what are your thoughts on that?
Very exciting question. I mean, we believe in this technology. We think it's really well thought through and brings a whole new of applications available. You never know until it happens, but we work with customers already who will launch these products this year, and we hope the transition will be fast. I mean, there's lots of features that will now be standard. That's going to be proprietary from many vendors. So having this as a standard, it would just be expected, and then product makers can focus on other things like other value adds that they might have and other ideas. And we hope will be maybe smaller actors can innovate and think about new use cases. I mean, there's been lots of input from the hearing aid industry, so people with hearing loss, and one sort of big market that's foreseen is hearables or consumer-grade hearing aids. So many people have hearing loss, but it's not serious enough to have a subsidized hearing aid. Yeah. And maybe there will be products for them that will increase their sort of quality of life, but won't drain their wallets completely. So we see a lot of potential, and we hope it happens fast.
Yeah, it certainly sounds very exciting.
Yeah.
So as you've demonstrated, LE Audio promises to bring many things, but it's still sort of in its infancy. So how do you see it evolving in the future?
So the first products will be products where you sort of end both ends of the link, like not necessarily connecting to phone, but phones will arrive rather soon. Yeah. There's sort of wish to support both technologies, so you can connect to both old and newer phone models, but that will be a transition period. I think the main drag in this technology shift would probably be cars, because that gets changed more seldom, and it's a bit harder to do the change there. Yeah. But I think there'll be lots of new products, and Digikey just launched their Orocast sort of brand name, so they're kind of creating awareness that on the broadcast use case that it should be a recognizable logo. Like if you have LE support and you can receive broadcast, then you should use this logo to know that you can use your product with a TV set or a product that you interact with.
Yeah, well, it's going to be very interesting to see where the technology goes in the future. Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about your cellular IoT offering with the nRF91 series. So could you explain some of the advantages of the nRF9160 in low power cellular IoT?
Yeah. So today the nRF9160 is the lowest power solution in the market. Yeah. We have a high level of integration, meaning that we also include an application processor in the same system in package for the customers to develop their own application. Yeah. That's a Cortex M33 running there with trust zones, a lot of security functionality, and of course we provide the fully open SDK, software development kit, so customers can easily develop their own applications.
Sounds fantastic. So how does this solution help users achieve minimum time to market?
So that's all about the ease of development. We have strong focus on ease of development in Nordic, making sure the documentation needed is up for the task, making sure the components in the SDK is easy to use, and of course providing all the tools around development. Basically getting from a blank device with nothing inside to a deployed status inside a product, and we try to ease all of the steps in that process.
Yeah, exactly. So how easy is development? Sort of what software and tools do you provide?
So we have built our SDK on, for instance, a Zephyr RTOS, which is a real-time operating system for embedded devices. That we see that being more and more important now because the applications also get more and more complex. So you need to have that underlying foundation to build on top on, to build proper applications. And in that sense, it is sort of a stepping stone getting into that, learning about a real-time operating system for the first time. We have recently launched something we call Developer Academy, where we provide education about how to get started. But it is quite new, so now there is one course there, but I highly recommend it to take that, getting started with our SDK. And there will be more courses to come, for sure.
It certainly sounds like it's going to be very beneficial.
Yeah.
So tell us about your multi-sensor cellular IoT prototyping platform, the Nordic Thingy 91.
Yeah.
What are its key features?
So this is the Thingy 91, and it is a prototyping platform. I would say is filled with different sensors for doing environment measuring, like temperature, air pressure, air quality, accelerometers, and it's basically using our NRF9160, combining that with all these sensors, built-in antenna, SIM card, battery, and a nice enclosure, so that it is easy for anyone that just want to test something out, can write their application and have something that looks as a finished product to show off.
Yeah, definitely.
We have products in the market which is almost a copy of this one.
We've seen some very similar designs out there.
So at what phase of development is the platform ideal for?
I would say that that varies a lot. All the way from this early evaluation where you maybe just need to convince your management that this is a good idea, to we have, as Eirik mentioned, we've seen also deployments where the product almost is this one, and pilot deployments, prototype series.
So a nice wide range then. So what's included with the kit?
So this kit comes with in a similar box, and it is a SIM card with 10 megabytes of preloaded data for the cellular part, and a getting started leaflet, and that's about it. You plug in the SIM card, you go on to our nrfcloud.com cloud solution. You set up your account there, you power it on, and it will connect, and you can start playing around with the sensor data.
Again, simple, out-of-the-box solution.
Exactly.
So how does Nordic work with Digi-key to support customers with their IoT prototypes?
Yeah, so I think we do a lot together, making, I would say, the technology available to the customer. So making the tools, awareness around the academy that we have coming up now, and doing that together is very important. But I'm sure there are a lot of other things that we could also do moving forward, even more, making it even easier for customers to get started. IoT prototyping.
It's great that the partnership's working, so fantastic. Well, thank you both for your time today and for bringing along the products to show us, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For the invitation.